1 second. Hello and welcome. I think you guys can hear us now. Sorry for that little misstep. We are back doing another Arizona Trail update video, and this time we are going to be sitting down with Eric and Krista, who were the Arizona Trail self-supported FKT thru hikers that we were following as part of the Arizona Trail Showdown over the course of the past couple weeks.
Yeah, and so we were basically tracking them via social media and the tracker that Eric provided. What we didn't know is they actually started off together.
Yeah, I think initially I maybe thought that, but I didn't really have a strong confirmation. So they did begin at the same time.
That's my understanding, but I mean, we could ask them themselves too.
We probably could, since they are joining us today live in the show, in the program. So if you are tuning in, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. But we love the Arizona Trail and are excited to continue the coverage. And yeah, we'll recap maybe at the end of the show some hints about Light and McKnight and their future on the Arizona Trail.
Word on the street.
There's some word, there's some rumors. The rumor mill is going strong. So we are going to jump on over and bring Krista and Eric into the program right about now. So hello, greetings. How are you both?
Good.
Yeah, doing good.
Awesome. It's great to have you. Can you tell us where you're at right now? Are you still in Arizona?
Yeah, we're in Arizona right now in Tucson. We got off the trail a few days ago, and we've just been staying at my aunt's house here in Tucson, just hanging out, recovering.
Nice.
Eating.
That's awesome. Now, do you prefer to be called by your trail names or your real first names? I want to start off with that. And could you give us your trail names?
Yeah, either way is fine, I guess. Fine.
Yeah.
My trail name's Some Guy.
I'm Stardust.
Nice. Awesome. Let's maybe take a step back. I know both of you were just on the trail, and we'll get to how that goes here in a second, but maybe walk us through your history with thru hiking, how you got into it, and obviously it seems like you still love it, so walk us through that.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. I did my first thru hike in 2020, so I did the AT, and then I followed it consecutive years and did PCT and CDT like a week or so before we started the AZT. So yeah, I've been through hiking wave for a little bit now.
So she's a triple crowner.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, for those of you out there that don't know, doing all three of those long distance hiking trails, I guess, earns you the Triple Crown designation.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then is that your story as well, Eric?
No, I didn't do the AT, or I haven't done it yet. So my first long trail was the PCT last year, and then the CDT as well. This summer we did the CDT Sobo and took about a week off, and then did the Arizona Trail. Attempted the Arizona Trail.
Interesting. So was it planned to do it that way, or you got to the end of the trail and just wanted more?
No, we planned it.
Yeah.
We decided like probably a year ago that we wanted to try it. So.
That's interesting.
Just curious, did you two meet on the trail?
Yeah, we met on the PCT last summer.
Cool. Very cool.
That's awesome. So going into the Arizona Trail, Bryce and I have both done it as well, and coming off of another long distance trail, do you feel like you were probably really fit and kind of ready to go, or were you feeling tired? Like, how were you feeling at the end of the long trail you just came from before you tackled the Arizona Trail?
Yeah, that's when we didn't know, because initially I always knew that if I were to attempt something like this, I'd want to have trail legs to do it, because I was like, that's the best way to train. But I don't know, I feel like we did more miles than we wanted to towards the end of New Mexico just to finish it up, that we didn't have a good taper to like truly be prepped for it. But I feel like just what's it called, just doing so many hours on our feet every day beforehand definitely helped more than anything else would. So I don't know, give and take, but I feel like it mostly helped.
Yeah, I think it mostly helped. Not totally sure what the right way to do it was, but it was an interesting way to train for it, especially seeing like how like McKnight was training for the AZT at the same time to do this very similar effort, going into it with like much more traditional like runner training. Um, and then we were doing like just so many long, slow miles every day. Um, it's a totally different approach, but I think it worked overall pretty well. I don't think there was too much lingering fatigue. So, yeah, might do it that way again.
Nice. So did you both do the CDT together then? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you did it together, and then for this one, I guess the goal would be to go for these fastest known times, correct? And you both started together, but were going after your individual records, so immediately you're going at different paces, essentially.
basically, yeah. We started
A few
like a
hours.
couple hours apart in the morning, so we started separately, and then yeah, we were going at separate paces. So we kind of spread out
Pretty
early
quick.
on.
Did either of you have any experience on the Arizona Trail prior to starting the effort?
No.
No, yeah, never been on the AZ.
Gotcha. What drew you to the AZT in particular for the FKT attempt?
Um,
I personally love deserts, so going through Southern California on the PCT, I was like, man, this is the best biome. And so I was super hyped to get to Arizona because I know it's a super cool state. And that was pretty much it. I was like, ooh, I like a long push, and I've never done that many miles, but I just liked Arizona, the idea
yeah,
of it.
and I think I originally got the idea for it a year ago, from seeing String Beans videos of doing the AZT, like the vlog videos he had last year, and seeing that made me think about maybe trying to go for the FKT on it for the first time, and it seemed like a really cool trail. So yeah,
Nice. And how did that translate? Maybe you can walk us through, I guess, your experience just seeing kind of the state of Arizona. Like, what were your impressions? Was it what you were expecting?
Not really, at least. Like, I had no idea about anything going in. I didn't watch that good church, I feel, but I had no idea about the Ponderosas for many miles. And yeah, it felt like it was all exciting and new. So I was kind of just excited for like each segment of it. I feel like Eric had more of an idea
a
what was
little bit
coming.
more, yeah, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I feel like it was harder than I anticipated. Like the terrain in places, especially the wilderness areas.
Yeah.
Was there anywhere in particular that you felt was the most difficult section?
Probably the superstitions.
Superstitions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe tell us, like the viewers out there, you guys didn't end up completing the trail. Do you want to talk about that? Like, where did you each make it to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to mile 560, which was, was it in a wilderness area?
I'm not sure.
Um,
Just kind of the middle of nowhere.
yeah, I only made it to like a certain point, and it was just night, and I got lost and just so sleep deprived that I was like, I don't want to do it. I can't do it anymore, type thing. But I definitely had a little like similar feeling in the superstitions where I was very much so wanted to quit because I couldn't find the trail at night, and it was just so um, it was exhausting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where I made it to.
Yeah. And I made it to mile 670 or 660 something. Um, and so that was like a little bit after Micah Mountain.
Okay.
And yeah, at that point, a little bit before then, I had like 130 miles to go or so, and about 48 hours to get under Josh's time. And I still felt like pretty good about it. I thought I would be okay. And then I stopped to take a dirt nap because I was like falling asleep, and ended up sleeping for 3 hours. And then
Oh,
woke up and I realized like what happened, and I had to average 3 miles an hour for the next like 44 hours or something. So I started walking, and I walked a few hours, and then just slowly realized like I wasn't able to keep up that pace, and I didn't want to just keep suffering that much to get to the end at that point. So I just called it and I quit, walked to the next road crossing, and went to sleep, and then got picked up.
Do you have either of you have any regrets with stopping?
Um, I wouldn't say I regret stopping exactly. I regret that I didn't maybe make some decisions differently earlier. Like I got way too sleep deprived. Um, I know both of us averaged less than 4 hours of sleep a night for like 13 days, which is pretty brutal. Um, so I wish I had tried to like move faster and more efficiently during the day. Like maybe did a little bit more running early on, and then been able to sleep more. And I think that would have given me a lot more energy later, because I found my body was still able to move pretty well, but my mind just couldn't stay like active. I couldn't stay awake for very long.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Krista.
I was gonna say I definitely wish I just took a nap and then just kept on going. But at that point, my body felt so much pain when I like went to sleep because I said I quit, and said it was like feel all the pain and like have a really, I don't know, kind of not great sleep.
Yeah, it's like that thing where once you tell yourself you're done, your body just stops.
Yeah, so I wish I didn't do that at night and just took a nap, woke up. But
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Eric Sensman described near the end of his Cocodona journey. He like got to the top of Mount Eldon, and he let down his guard essentially. So like all those probably pain blockers and things just like melted away, and he was just left with like the reality of what he had just done to himself.
It's like the classic Brian Morrison at Western States.
Yeah, I made it to the track. I've won. Okay.
Yeah.
Have either of you run? Like, do you run as well as through hike? Have you run any ultra marathons?
Yeah, nothing major. You go first. A little more.
I did my first 100, just like a little Tesla Hertz in Long Island in 2019. And so it was a nice slow 100. And then we both did our next 100 at Badger Mountain Challenge in Washington, another 100-mile run. And that was your first?
That was my first.
Special?
That was this March. So just this year.
Oh, nice.
And did like a couple shorter ultra marathons last year.
And some self-supported stuff.
And some like long self-supported runs. And yeah, I definitely want to do more like ultra marathons.
Yeah.
That seems really appealing now after doing so much.
With like a backpack on your back, self-supported. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the crossover? It seems like there's more and more athletes kind of doing both and curious about both parts of the sport.
Yeah, I think it translates pretty well either way. Yeah, like runners coming to do more long trail stuff tend to have more problems with like pacing and staying with it for longer. And I think like through hikers have trouble going fast enough sometimes, which is kind of my problem because I was so used to hiking all summer that it was hard to like try to keep up a faster pace on the Arizona Trail. And then like through hiking, you also just have, you're usually more efficient. Like, as you guys know, you get like super dialed in with your gear, and you can set up camp really fast and resupply quickly. So there's a bit of a learning curve with that, but I think the fitness translates really well either way.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you were averaging probably, what, 51 to 53 miles a day, Eric?
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, which isn't too far behind what Mike was doing each day, being more fully supported. It's kind of interesting, like you said, you can, in some regards, even though you have more gear with you, you are more self-sufficient. So you can probably, if you want to push it a little longer, you can. You don't need to wait for a supply stop. And I know Mike had some big issues with his crew getting to him, meaning he had a couple, I think, 30-mile stretches where he didn't have enough food with him.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that at the time, and that would really suck. That's definitely through hiking is that, I mean, everything you have all the time. So you're not going to find yourself without food unless you messed up and didn't pack enough food yourself, which can happen sometimes.
What was each of your favorite stretches on the trail, or like most memorable?
Grand Canyon. It was so awesome. I went there once when I was a younger kid, and I was only like on top. So going down into it was just completely unreal. Wasn't ready.
Yeah, probably the Grand Canyon too. Scenery-wise, I've never been to the Grand Canyon, so that was just amazing.
That's so cool. Like your first time crossing the Grand Canyon on the Arizona Trail.
I had the same thing. And
Same thing for you?
Blown away. Yeah, it is so cool.
Did you, when you did it?
What was that?
Did you camp in the canyon?
We did, yeah. Forget what it's called. You go down to Phantom Ranch and you kind of take a left and go up that cliff there. There's a little camping site up there. It was like an extra 1,000 feet, which felt like a lot of climbing after going down, but yeah. Did you guys encounter a significant amount of overgrowth, especially through the wilderness areas? Did you guys get ripped up by any cat claw?
Oh yeah, our legs are so torn up.
So many cuts.
How's the recovery been? I mean, since you've gotten a chance to kind of rest a little bit.
It's been pretty good. First couple of days was definitely a hobble around, but after this, it's just been smooth.
Yeah, and we slept like 16 hours a day the first couple days.
I could only imagine how nice that was.
Yeah. How much has your food consumption increased over where your baseline would normally be?
Probably double.
Yep.
Continuous eating.
Yeah, just eating all day long.
Sounds about right.
Do you guys have anything next on the radar as far as another trail to hike, maybe next year or later this year?
Yeah. What are you thinking of that?
I haven't discussed this yet. It's a little premature.
Yeah, no, we don't have any like big through hikes planned for next year. Next year, we're probably gonna work more and save up money because I haven't worked in like 6 months. But I want to do some more running stuff. Like I want to do a couple more 100-milers, and we're looking at maybe doing like a longer self-supported mini through hike thing, somewhere more like 200 or 300 or 400 miles, maybe next summer.
Like for an FKT.
Yeah, like another FKT attempt, something a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is there another FKT, or is that something you're still interested after this?
Yes and no. Like
doing 800 feels daunting right now because like knowing that I have to get back to that sleep deprived state feels like a lot. Yeah. But I know like up to 400 miles it feels super attainable. Like I could deal with that little sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know like before the AZT I had bigger plans in mind for like other trails I wanted to attempt. And then on the AZT it was just so miserable so much of the time that made me not want to do anything. So I'll probably stick to like some shorter stuff for FKT efforts. Maybe something as long as the Arizona Trail again, but I don't know.
It's daunting for sure. I can't even imagine at this point.
Well, I mean, the bars just keeps getting set higher and higher, and it's at a point now where like it's not possible unless you go through like an immense amount of suffering in order to get that mileage per day. Did you guys encounter any wildlife on the trail?
Good amount of stuff. Nothing too crazy.
I mean, one mountain lion scared me. So I have phobia, and then I ended up just like bushwhacking up and over a hill to like, because it was kind of right in the direction I was going to be going in, and I just didn't want anything to do with it, so I just took the steep cut.
That was down near Roosevelt,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you had, I think I saw they left a pizza out for you.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
called them and ordered
awesome.
because I was like, man, I could really go for a pizza, but I'm not gonna make it in time. And yeah, they're so nice. They gave me a free salad. I was loving it.
They charged me so. But
Was that the bar, like the sports bar and grill, like right on like the marina?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
They took care of us too. They opened early. We got there earlier than they were supposed to open. They let us in and gave us some food. So, yeah, it seems like they really support the trail community out there, which is cool to hear.
should have gone in.
Yeah.
You didn't go in?
I just went to the place next door and picked up my.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
the general store.
How would you compare the Arizona Trail to some of the other long trails that you've done? How, like, if you had to describe it to people, how does it compare?
Oh yeah. Do you need to?
I mean, comparing to the CDT, because I feel like that's the most brutal of the hikes I've been on. It definitely is similar to some sections of New Mexico. You'd agree? Like, it was just a little bit more bushwhacking, but this one definitely felt a bit more brutal than New Mexico, just because of how unmaintained it was at times and how sharp everything was.
Yeah.
What kind of shoes did you guys wear?
Ultras.
Yeah.
Lumpy.
Yep. That
Is that a through hiker shoe of choice these days?
I think it is. That's what I wore. I think it's probably the most popular one on the trail, if you guys would agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Get that wide toe box for the swelling and,
all that
and
swelling.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like with my half-sized up shoes, by the end I was having a little trouble putting my shoe on in the morning because my feet were swollen.
Dang.
Any blister issues for either of you?
I had some at times. The worst I got was actually like the last day or so. I got a really brutal one under my heel, and it was just every step. I was like, oh, there's a pricker in my shoe, and it was not.
Oh man.
Only a couple times. Mostly my feet were calloused over enough. But
Yeah, I didn't have any real bad blisters. Just like pretty minor hot spots. Except one day I thought I was going to get really bad blisters, and then they just kind of went away. It was when it rained one day that we were on the trail, maybe day 6 or something, and it was when I was going through the Mazatals. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
There's like so many different ways, but yeah.
I went through that section at night, and it was raining. So I slept before the rain because I didn't bring a tent. So I wanted to just hike through the rain, and then that ended up taking forever. That was one of the slowest sections because it was dark and raining, and I couldn't check the map on my phone because it was all wet. So I was just getting lost all the time. It was overgrown. But yeah, after that, I should have changed my socks because my feet were wet. But I got a little bit of blisters on both my feet, and then somehow it just went away. So I lucked out there, I guess.
Just calloused over eventually.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah.
It was just like my feet hurt so bad, I just had to get going, and an hour later it would just all numb out.
Yep.
And then it didn't matter.
Yeah, once you've been walking a while, it kind of goes away.
Eric, I saw on your most recent Instagram post, there was a comment on there from Joshua Perry, and I believe he said something to the extent of solid effort, maybe you should sleep less next time.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would agree with if you were going to do this again?
No. No, he's messing with me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Believe how little I was sleeping. Because when he did it, he was moving a lot faster during the day, and then he was sleeping more each night. So yeah, that's why that'd be something I definitely change next time.
Gotcha.
Try to do a little more running and a little more sleeping.
Krista, would you change anything about your experience?
Well, for one thing, I wouldn't bring a tent because it weighed a lot and I didn't use it. And
Yeah.
same thing, like when it rained, I just walked through the rain and it was miserable because I didn't want to have to deal with like the morale of taking down that tent. So I would definitely lighten my pack a bit. I would bring less anchor batteries, which I brought way too many of. The last day, dropping them off in like bear boxes.
Cash boxes.
Yeah, because I was like, this is way too heavy. I can't carry. And then I quit anyway, so I should have held on to them.
So they'll go to someone else, I guess. Carry it on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely cut my weight a bit more, and also, yeah, if I could cut down on weight, run a little bit more, because my sleep was not enough, and I was clocking in those 1.5-hour sleeps at night. Like, this isn't going to be great.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, how do you keep your devices charged when you're out there? Are you using solar panels to charge up batteries while you walk and to charge up your phone?
I've never used solar. I've heard of it sometimes, but I guess I've never really seen people using it, so I'm not totally sure if it would work. So yeah, I've just used like anchor battery packs, and then just plug in like phone or plug in the inReach into that and charge it up.
Do you recharge the batteries like along the way? Because I know when I was doing it, not for time, we would go into Starbucks, general stores, or wherever there's an outlet, and just kind of just sit there for a couple hours.
Yeah, I ended up having to. I thought I wouldn't, which was dumb. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought the battery that I wouldn't need to recharge them ever, and so I didn't bring a wall plug. I realized I wasn't gonna have enough battery. So I bought a wall plug. They had one at the gas station. And then I would charge them every time we went to town for at least a little bit.
They just don't charge quick enough.
I was going to say that's time that you can't be moving if you're plugged in somewhere. That's a challenge.
That's why I sent myself way too many anchors. So I was like, I won't have to worry about this at all. And I was hoping to mail back like half of them when I got to Summer Haven, which just didn't happen. And then what's it called? Yeah, I did it that way, but that was way too much weight. So I feel like
it's a hard balance.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the best way to do it.
Best food stop along the way? Was it a gas station? Was it a restaurant? Like what town? What restaurant did you go to?
Early Bird Diner, Pine. Incredible diner.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's awesome.
That was a hot meal I got.
Yeah, they were so quick.
Yeah, they were super fast.
So ready.
And they were busy too.
Yeah.
So really
what did you order there?
I got a breakfast burrito and a waffle.
And I got a omelet and hash browns.
Nice.
Now, nutrition-wise on the trail, what are your go-tos? What are you packing?
Garbage.
Garbage, you said?
Yeah. Yeah, just so much junk, really. Like candy and protein bars and chocolate bars and like granola and
Snickers, Velveeta bars.
Yeah, just like all snacks. Eating that.
I don't want to eat any food.
Just take time off from eating food. I think when I did it back in the day, it was like Snickers was a huge staple. And I don't know if they're even around anymore, but they had a Tiger's Milk was a bar, and I think I was able to get them from Costco for cheap. And I have not eaten I did not eat a Tiger's Milk bar once I finished the trail. I was completely done with that product.
Yeah,
I haven't seen them in a while, but I've had them before. They're pretty good.
No, not anymore. I'm sure every thru hiker has a story like that.
Oh,
something you're sick of.
And now I'm like rethinking how I did all my food, and I'm like, wow, I wasted so much time with like freeze dried and putting peanut butter on tortillas, like tortillas. I should have just brought a bunch of Snickers bar and Tiger's Milk.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're just trying to be efficient. Like only have stuff that you can eat while you're walking.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So you didn't have any sort of a stove or anything. Yeah,
no.
That would make sense for an FKT attempt. All I had was the little cat food can stove.
Oh yeah,
which was definitely fun to make, and it worked pretty well. I had some hot meals out there.
I went very luxurious and had a full-on jet boil.
Did you really? Okay.
Which it's so efficient that I carried one less can of fuel than everybody else with me, and the weight about evened out.
Interesting. And yeah, you stayed in a tent, of course.
I brought a tent.
Yeah.
I slept in it 2 nights the entire time.
Yeah. I went with a tarp tent, and I think it's the same. I think it was like the first 2 nights, and yeah, then it was just, I don't care.
You just get lazy and you just use it as a tarp or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Any other questions you got for him?
Will either of you, do you guys have any desire to do this trail again, either at an FKT pace or maybe more casually?
Yeah, I think at some point. I at least want to definitely finish the miles I didn't do, for sure. Hoping this summer or winter while we're here.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's not that I'll never want to FKT attempt it again, but I don't know. I feel like I might want to. If I did the trail, I'd want to do it fast.
Yeah, maybe. Not totally sure.
Sure. Well, Krista, you probably, if you were at like 580, you were probably just outside the Superstitions, maybe? Did you make it to Picket Post Trailhead?
Yeah, I was past the Superstitions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, past Picket Post.
Down to the Gila River?
Past the Gila River.
I think she was in that flat section.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The desert section.
The desert section between Kearney and Mount Lemon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, like Freeman Road area.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was just trying to place it. Awesome. Well, anything else that either of you want to add? We really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us and learn more about you and your experience on the Arizona Trail.
Yeah, nothing comes to mind. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, we hope to, maybe we'll see you out this winter at some point in the Phoenix area.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well, take care.
See you guys.
See ya.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's always fun to check in. It's cool. I didn't realize that they had run some 100-milers before. That crossover continues, I think, where people that are doing these through hiking long distance trails are also running ultras and vice versa.
And they casually throw out 100 miles, both of them, just like. I mean, that's
that they run an ultra, yeah.
Right. They're like the 100-mile after the Arizona Trail 800-mile FKT seems like.
Well, when they're saying maybe I'll do something a little bit shorter, they're saying maybe I'll do a 300-mile long trail instead of an 800. So. Yeah,
but very cool to actually meet them, talk to them a little bit since we've been just following them through social for so long. So yeah, that's fun.
It's awesome. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk about potentially Ben and Mike.
Ben and Mike.
So I think they're already scheming about a possible spring Arizona Trail return from what I've seen, but a lot more low key. So I guess they're firing us.
Maybe we did our jobs too well, Jamil. That's what I'm going to go with.
That's what I'm hearing. They don't like the daily check-ins. Apparently, I don't know. But we'll certainly keep an eye out for what they do next. But yeah, we may not hear about it until they're on the trail or they're done. Who knows?
Which is, I mean, that would be cool. But hopefully they'll provide some updates for us. I totally understand it when you're going for an FKT. I'm sure. I mean, it's a lot to focus on. I mean, when you're doing that, especially when you're so far into it, you have a singular purpose, and that's like to finish the trail. So I totally understand. I'm a little surprised. They're targeting this spring. It's a little sooner than I was thinking, but I'm not upset about it.
They want to get right back out there. Apparently, no, it's awesome, and you never know. I mean, I think it's easy to say it right afterwards, but who knows what they have planned. But it would be awesome to see them back out. Hopefully, we can get out there and support them in some way.
Yep.
And I think they were talking about starting together, and then possibly Ben was like, maybe he's going to do it unsupported. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff thrown around right now. So we'll see how it all kind of pans out. But yeah, I think doing it with a little bit less media fanfare, I think that's just one more thing to think about, one more thing to worry about, one more thing to put stress on you. And I think when Ben tweaked his hip, I believe he was filming at that moment.
Oh, he was recording?
Or like, I think he was like putting his camera away, and I was like,
oh no.
Oh no. Like the coverage is like now affecting his
We
actual
don't want
trip.
it to hinder the effort. Right.
Exactly. So we'll see. And man, there's just a lot more happening in the through hiking FKT space. I just got an email from Jeff Garmeyer. His film is coming out soon. Shoot, what is it called?
Is it? It's not free. Is it free outside? It might
Maybe
be
it
the
is
free outside. I know it's
So,
premiering in Colorado.
Yeah, Dylan Harris's film and team about Jeff Garmeyer's unsupported Colorado Trail trip, and they had to film this not talking to him. They were not allowed to talk to him the entire time or really interact with him. They had to like hide in the bushes from afar, and now you cannot do that. You cannot film an unsupported through hiker anymore. So this is kind of a historic film.
Right.
It's going to be really well done and maybe a last look at an unsupported FKT effort with these new rules in place.
Right. Just hearing some of the stories from Jeff and Dylan about that experience, I cannot wait to watch this film.
It's going to be a full-fledged film. I think it's over an hour long, and there is talk of bringing bringing it through Arizona. So Jeff was just asking me about some theater locations in Tucson, Phoenix, and then they're going to bring it to the Orpheum and Flagstaff. So keep an eye out. We'll hopefully help broadcast that out there and get some people to show up.
Love it. Can't wait.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and we'll see you later.